Coming up on the latest edition of the Tiger Football Report, we will be joined by the head coach of the Tigers, Rob Ambrose, as we discuss how Towson picked up their first win of 2014 when they defeated Delaware State in an unconventional manner. And later, we'll preview the Tigers' next opponent, North Carolina Central. Another edition of the Tiger Football Report starts right now. Hello, Tiger fans, and welcome to the Week 4 edition of the Tiger Football Report. I'm the voice of the Tigers, Spiro Marikas. Last Saturday, Towson was back on the road when they made the short trip to Dover, Delaware, to battle the Delaware State Hornets. The weather was not ideal, but the results sure were. The Tigers used 2 special team touchdowns and a strong defensive performance to earn a 21-7 victory. The Tigers now sit at 1-2 overall and get ready to return home to Johnny Unitas Stadium for 3 straight home games. We'll get into that a little bit later. Right now, let's welcome in the leader of the Tigers, head coach Rob Ambrose. And coach, as I mentioned, the special teams come up with 2 touchdowns. You had a couple of field goals, a 2-point conversion, a very unconventional way to get to 21, but you'll take it any way you can.
Well, if we wouldn't left some more points on the field, we could have had a lot more of those. So, no, a win's a win. And since you're the history and the stat guy, when's the last time you were making announcements during a game that were all about the defense and all about special teams?
It's been a long, long time. And I know you and I have kidded back and forth. When you first came here, I kept telling you, it's been X amount of years since we've had a kickoff return for a touchdown. I've been kind of lapsed. I kind of lapsed a little bit because I didn't realize it had been 16 years since the Tigers had a punt return for a touchdown. Back when you were here, Dennis Cliggott against Fordham. You got one from Derek Joseph, the man who now has 4 TDs as a kickoff returner and 1 as a punt returner. We'll get to Derek in the next segment, but it's not just one guy that allows those special teams things to happen.
No, it is truly a team effort. It's all 11 guys. And stuff that we had talked about for the last couple of weeks, I've seen progress in ways that I haven't seen the first couple of years since we came back, and especially in teams. And every week we seem to get a little bit better and a little bit better. There were plays in West Virginia that we just missed. Like we were talking about hitting home runs in a kickoff return game and a punt return game, and we were one guy off. And you're like, nope, to the blind eye, to the common fan, you're not going to know this. But we're seeing those small details show up now, and they showed up big time for us in a win.
Obviously, every win is important, but when you start off 0-2 and you're going on the road again, to get that victory is so key, especially for a lot of these young guys who hadn't experienced that victory.
And a lot of media talking heads like, were you relieved to get the first? I'm like, no, I'm not relieved. I've won lots of ball games in my career. I'm excited for these kids because this is the first time with so many young kids that they actually saw themselves work hard, invest, grow, face some adversity, terrible weather, and just grind through and finish a game for a win. And you could just see the look on their faces like, oh, like light bulbs went on. Like, I get this. We can do this. And now the job is to keep the light bulb on all the time. But the kids are really holding to it. We've practiced well. We keep getting better. I'm excited.
The weather. It was very cloudy when we got to Dover, and then probably a half hour before kickoff, it just started pouring and off and on the entire game. How much of an effect does that have on your game plan on the offensive side of the football?
Large, especially with a young team. You still got to move the football. You still got to try to win the game. You still got to score, but you're playing the battle of field position all the time in bad weather. And, they did a great job pinning us. I mean, we had some of the worst field position we had ever. And we just kept driving it out, and we tried to flip the field on them. And we did it for a little bit, but when it's pouring down rain, the wind is blowing, and everybody's soaking wet from an offensive perspective, you have to be detailed in holding on to the ball. And as a coach, you got to make sure that you don't put your kids in positions offensively to lose the game, to turn the ball over with bad field position and hand them points. And the kids did a really, really good job. Staff did a good job keeping us in striking distance for most of the game and making us feel like even though the score wasn't what we wanted, we had them where we wanted them. We were just waiting for the right time to close it down.
One thing that this team has done extremely well is turnovers. You don't have any through 3 games. And You know, Connor has not been as efficient throwing the football as I'm sure you would like, but he hasn't made the mistakes. There's been no interceptions.
Mm-hmm. When you're trying to grow something like this, before you can move forward, you have to make sure that you don't go backwards. And that's something that we really haven't done. You know, we had our special teams getting a little bit better, especially with punt, because we punted more. But we're not turning the ball over. We're not putting the defense in situations that they don't need to be in. Those guys know that I'm aggressive, and we're going to go for it a lot on fourth down and challenge teams all the time. And that's a mentality that's going to exist in the locker room. But when it comes to turnovers, are morale killers. Everybody, and we're not doing that offensively, and that's keeping us from going backwards.
Halftime of this game, you were down. What did you tell the team at halftime?
There were two versions. One when I walked in and I said, you know, give or take, we were down, but we shouldn't have been. Penalty and negates a scoring play, and you know probably should have scored a touchdown in the first series of the game. But you know we talked about the little things and the details and needing to finish. And I said, everybody knows that we're not that far away. Let the staff come in and make their adjustments, and they were pretty excited about it. And then I brought them back all together and I said, does anybody in this room have a doubt we should win this football game? And I said, there's no more talking. We need to go win the game. Everybody has to go do their job. We need to strain and we need to finish. And that's how we're going to win the ball game. And that's exactly what we did. We strained on all three phases of the game, and we finished the game in the fourth quarter. 15 points in the fourth quarter. That's how you want to finish the game.
A couple of guys that stand out on the defensive side of the football. James Sims, the freshman, again, just had a monster day. And Donnell Lewis and Ryan Dallaire also having great games for you. So you've got experience, some experience, and no experience. That's got to make you excited.
It is. And you're talking about three separate levels of the defense, too. So, you know, we're spreading out this exceptional play. With James, he played very, very well in the first game, a ton of tackles. Didn't really show up in the West Virginia game, which is the sign of youth. You know, to be able to play at that level, to keep your motor running, your focus running, it dies off. And that's what we've been talking to him all week. Well, you're going to be an every other week player. You know, Ryan is really up this game. There's no question about that. He's the Energizer Bunny with the Acme rocket. Just keep on going. And people, if they don't prepare for him before the week starts, they start preparing as the game goes because he is a difference maker. And Donnell is everywhere. He truly is. Now, you're leaving one guy out. Jordan Minot, who started at safety in the Central game, got moved to Sam for this game and played his face off and also was the guy who blocked the punt for a touchdown. So got to give him a little bit of credit too. He's doing a great job making adjustments. So defensively, it is exactly what I said it was probably going to be. We were going to have to carry the load, make the difference, run the field position hard. And our guys have really stepped up for the most part to get that done.
So the Tigers get that first victory on the strength of their defense and special teams. We have to step aside, but when the Tiger Football Report returns, we'll discuss some of the individual performances that allow the Tigers to walk out of Dover with a much-needed victory, and later we'll discuss Towson's next opponent, the North Carolina Central University Eagles. We'll do that right after this.
Virtual Wallet can help you be that person who's good with money. See what's free to spend, move money with a slide, save with a shake. Feel good about your decisions.
Brian Vickers, Aaron's sponsored driver. He doesn't just love racing, he lives it.
We got the paper! Woo!
His pit crew follows him everywhere. Oddly, so does his boss.
Red, sign that, sign that.
And his passion for racing is rivaled only by his passion for errands.
No credit needed. I'll take it.
Woo!
Congrats.
Aaron's makes owning easy through lease ownership, so you can own the life you want.
You'll find it on the sidewalks of Little Italy and on the porches in Catonsville. You can see it when friends meet in Mount Vernon. It's pride. Pride in our city, pride in our people. That's why MedStar Health is building the most accessible healthcare system in the region to look after everyone from Lutherville to Locust Point. So no matter where you go, no matter who you are, you're never far from MedStar.
White Market's ice cream plant is based in Sunbury, Pennsylvania, and it's locally owned and operated. We've been making our ice cream for nearly 50 years. We create roughly 70 flavors of ice cream right now. We use local ingredients, especially our cream, which is from our milk plant. The cream is what gives our ice cream a rich and creamy texture. Now, together with our customers, we've created a product called Peanut Butter Indulgence, which will be coming out this summer. It's a peanut butter ice cream with sea salt caramel swirl, chocolate-covered pretzel. How can you go wrong with that? Personally, I love our ice cream. If you come to our house at any given time, you'll find at least 5 packets of ice cream in our freezer. Our kids grew up eating Wise quality ice cream, and now we get to treat our grandchildren to it. It's been a pleasure for me to be tasting ice cream for over 40 years to Wise Markets, and I'm loving every minute of it.
Welcome back to the Tiger Football Report. I'm Spiro Maurikas, joined by head coach Rob Ambrose of the Tiger football team. And coach, as we talked about in the first segment, special teams really stepped up in the ball game against Del State. And you've got one guy in particular who has the ability to change a game on the drop of a dime. Last week, 81-yard punt return for a touchdown. It was his first ever punt return for a touchdown, but the 5th special teams touchdown of his career. It ranks as the 3rd longest punt return in school history and the first since, as we mentioned earlier, Dennis Cliggett returned one 71 yards against Fordham in 1998. I should also mention Derek Joseph, CAA Special Teams Player of the Week for the 4th time in his career. Is it safe to say, and you know, this is going to be a tough one because Towson had one of the great all-time return men in history. How do you compare Derek Joseph to David Megan?
Wow. Well, I remember my father asked me about Dave Megan when I was playing. Dave was a senior and I was a freshman. And he said, how do you describe his style? And I said, if there are less than 6 people between him and the end zone, and it doesn't matter where it is in open field, he's going to score a touchdown. I've never seen anybody do the things that he could do. And I think Bill Parcells would back me up. Derek Joseph is extremely explosive and has done a phenomenal job. He is in Dave's category, but I got to say, given what I've seen out of both of them, and I don't want to let Cliggett out of the box either because I was a punt return team coach back in '98, that no, I'm gonna put Dave ahead of him.
Dave was a little more powerful, I think, than Derek was.
Much more, and very, very strong. And hold on, now pound for pound, Derek Joseph is the strongest player on the team.
Okay.
He's like one of those, you know, like the ant is like, he's really small, he doesn't even weigh 160, but pound for pound, the percentage-wise, he's the strongest player on the team. So he's not weak by any stretch of the imagination, but he's got really, really great hands, he's got great vision, he's got quick feet. Coach Chicario did say that's the slowest 4.3 speed he's ever seen in his life, but it was rainy and he made a lot of guys miss. So anyway, a punt return for a touchdown is a hard thing to find. It's a very rare gem, and finding it at that time when it was needed most says a lot about him and his career and his desire to help the team.
And if we go back, he was in the coach's doghouse for a while during his career and worked his way out of it.
He was. It had a hard time adjusting to the offense. You know, ours is an NFL-style offense and a lot of verbiage and a lot of thinking, and kind of gave up on trying to figure it out and figured he was just going to be a specialist, and that really hurt his game as a specialist. And when he decided that that wasn't what he should be doing, he's really upped his effort, he's upped his investment, and it's made a difference in his career. He's going to finish as the best, statistically, one of the best kick returners we've ever had.
Best.
The best. And, you know, he's made a mark as a wideout, and he keeps getting better every week. So he's helping us win in multiple phases.
Rare that you have a punt return. Even rarer is to see Rob Ambrose coaching on the sideline with a tie. Why, after all these years, Saturday afternoon, in the rain, you're wearing a tie on the sideline like Tom Landry?
Wow. Me and Tom, I don't think many people would put me and Tom
You needed
Landry
the fedora.
in the same. That would not look good on me. Anybody that's ever been to Delaware State, the changing situation there is very difficult. Some of their facilities are challenging, and just decided not to mess with it. And considering we were 0-2, a little curveball and a little mojo change might help the guys out a little bit. I didn't realize that would result in basically 17 points on special teams, but I'll take it. That's fine.
Will we see you in a tie on Saturday evening at the Johnny Unitas Stadium?
At this point, we don't know.
At this point, we don't know. How about the earring? Is that ever going to make a return?
No.
The earring's done. Well, the Tigers, again, will take on North Carolina Central Saturday night at Johnny Unitas Stadium. We're getting back to the Del State game, and we mentioned, you know, what Derek Joseph did. You mentioned Jordan Minot with the blocked punt Fred Overstreet getting it in the end zone. But the other thing that was key was that two-point conversion that you were able to get on Connor Frazier with a tremendous pass to Andre Dessenberg.
It's something that we've worked on for a while, and we didn't even execute it to the exact degree that it was supposed to be done. But we've run it so many times and seen so many multiple looks that it was one of those that we had real confidence we were going to get it done no matter who the ball ended up getting to. So kudos to the kids for getting that done, and kudos for the staff for actually putting something together that we knew in a time of need we were going to have to, it was important. And that could have been the difference in winning and losing a ball game depending on what happened down the road. So good job by everybody.
And then Darius Victor, another 100-yard performance, plus he had a 55-yard touchdown run return because of a penalty. He played a lot last year, but I guess it's kind of different for him now that he is the main guy. He's not Terrence West's, backup. Terrence West is guy that comes in when Terrence needed a breather. He's the go-to guy. How different is it for him? We talk about quarterbacks. What about for running backs?
It's stressful. It really is. Use whatever sports vernacular you want to choose. When you're the sixth man coming off the bench, you're helping out, but nobody's really putting all their money on you. When you're the designated hitter or the pinch hitter, you can come off the bench and help them out, but nobody's counting on you to win the ball game all the time. When you're the guy, the weight of that, it's heavy. And he's the tailback in an offense that we run the football a good bit. We're going to be a powerful team, and that could be challenging to some individuals, especially young individuals, guys that played a little bit as a true freshman and now they're in a true sophomore year, but not for him. He is a workhorse. He will do everything and anything for the team to be successful. In case you didn't notice, he threw some pretty wicked blocks out there. I said I didn't want to tackle him. I definitely don't want to try to escape a block from him because he gets low and he's really, really physical. So being a good team player, knowing the offense as well as he does, and being a tough human being has allowed him to not buckle under the pressure of being the guy at a young age.
And he's about to get his name in the record books, so we'll talk about in just a second. Still to come on the Tiger Football Report, we'll dive into the Tigers' Week 4 matchup with another MEAC opponent, the North Carolina Central Eagles. But first, let's take a look at this week's Tiger Tidbit presented by Under Armour. Did you know, with 97 rushing yards this week, sophomore Darius Victor can become just the 24th player in Towson history to rush for 1,000 yards.
So what you got on deck?
Skyfall, Lean In, then some Pinterest. You?
Twitter, Minecraft, and then some Hunger Games. Boom.
Oh, you guys are all set, huh?
Oh, yeah. New Amazon Fire Phone.
It comes with Amazon Prime. Tons of cool stuff for no extra charge.
Really? It comes with Amazon Prime?
Yeah, there's so much to watch.
I've been on this earth 9 years. I've never seen anything like it.
The new Amazon Fire Phone with a full year of Prime included, exclusively on AT&T.
Mariner Finance is a consumer finance company, so we offer personal loans.
Mariner Finance is a great place to work. It's a great thing for anyone with the entrepreneurial spirit.
Everybody in every office has an opportunity to achieve and grow.
Be your own leader. Be a leader amongst the fellow coworkers in your office.
The training and development that we do at Mariner Finance is one-on-one. Someone who has been there, done it, experienced it.
There is no better feeling.
Learn with us.
Grow with us.
Run with us.
Brian Vickers, Aaron's sponsored driver. He doesn't just love racing, he lives it.
We got the paper! Woo!
His pit crew follows him everywhere. Oddly, so does his boss.
Red, sign that! Yeah!
And his passion for racing is rivaled only by his passion for errands.
No credit needed. I'll take it.
Woo!
Congrats.
Aaron's makes owning easy through lease ownership, so you can own the life you want.
This is where the legends live, waiting for someone with better innovation. From the brand that reinvented the t-shirt comes the Under Armour Speedform Apollo. This is our rocket ship.
Welcome back to the Tiger Football Report. I'm Spiro Marikas alongside the head coach of the Tigers, Rob Ambrose. Coach, you and your team get ready for your final non-conference game of the year when you will take on North Carolina Central this Saturday at Johnny Unitas Stadium. When you look at this Eagles team, on paper they enter play with the same record as you, 1-2. They lost to a very, very good East Carolina team who proved how good they were by beating Virginia Tech this past week. They beat a Division II school in Elizabeth State, and then this past week lost to Charlotte, who is now an FBS program also, 40-28. What do you see when you look at North Carolina Central, a team that you beat last year?
We can throw last year out the door because it's an entirely new staff. So the schemes are different. Some of the players are the same. But what I see out of this team versus the one that we played a year ago is these guys are extremely disciplined. That their schemes offensively and defensively are not complicated, but they are running it to a perfection. They really, really are. And that's a sign of a strong base. They are talented and athletic. Again, they got 2 tailbacks that are for real. Their offensive line is very, very good. They got 1 wideout who is a straight-up rock star. They got two DBs, one of which is from Baltimore, who are shutdown guys. They're good up front. Their backers are run-around guys. And more importantly, their special teams, their kickoff coverage might be the best kickoff coverage I've seen yet. And that's quite a statement considering West Virginia's got some dudes. So good football team. I know they got a lot of kids from this area, and a lot of fans from this area, and they will make a showing. They're excited about playing us. You can say whatever you want to say about UNC Charlotte. We're their Super Bowl. We're the supposed, last year's #2 team, and they've had us circled on the calendar since the last game.
And they gave you a battle last year down in Durham. It was a game that you started pulling away late in the ball game.
We did. They gave us everything we could handle. They mixed the fronts up pretty good, and I'll say our guys weren't really into it. Thinking that they were a nobody school that got beat, a lot, and it took them a while to get some traction. There were some guys that played. Leon Kennard played his rear end off in that game, and he single-handedly had 4 long third down conversions. Peter Athens played very, very well in that game. Terrence played well in the second half. We didn't play that well up front. Defensively, we played okay, but not as good as we could have. They scored on plays we just gave up. And I think our guys, the younger guys that didn't play in that game actually remember this. And they don't want any part of that. They know the last time we played in our stadium, we didn't win. And that doesn't feel good.
You've got 3 in a row at Johnny Unitas Stadium. We'll get to that in a second. But Andre Clark, the running back, has 166 yards so far, averaging 4.3 yards per game. Then you talk about their pass game. Against Charlotte last week, they threw for 354 yards and have 2 wide receivers, Wilkins and Hassick. Wilkins averaging 17 yards a catch and Hassick averaging 16 yards a catch. So not just 1, but 2 guys. Explosive.
And they're going to play more than 1 quarterback. And both those quarterbacks can throw it a little bit, but one's a lot more elusive than the other. And the difference is that this year they're really trying to run the football. And they're trying to run the football has helped their pass game greatly. So they do some up-tempo stuff. They do some sideline check stuff. They are a good offense. They're going to put up some good numbers, and we're going to have to play all 4 quarters and beat them.
They put up 28 against Charlotte last week. When you scout, when you do your review of the films of the games, and probably for North Carolina Central also, do you spend less time looking at the East Carolina game and looking at the games where they had success against Elizabeth City and against Charlotte, and you think North Carolina Central is looking more at your Central Connecticut game and your Dell State game as opposed to the West Virginia game?
Well, I think we do a lot formationally, and it doesn't really matter who they're playing. Noting full well that the 1A opponent, how do they match up? Do they try to change everything to go play a team that they might feel they're overmatched by? And they've been pretty true to everything. Didn't matter if they were playing the Division II school or the 1A school, that they've been pretty true to their schemes all the way through. So then it's, how did they try to match up versus those guys and the talent level? I'll tell you that the wideouts at East Carolina are extremely impressive. The offensive line, not so much. And the quarterback he can throw it around a little bit. So on that side of the ball, on the flip side, how did they hold up versus guys that were supposed to be get after guys from East Carolina's defense against their offense? And you don't change how you evaluate it, but you put an asterisk by, all right, maybe that was only for East Carolina. But no, for the most part, it stays true.
First of 3 in a row at Johnny Unitas Stadium. Last year, you guys were road warriors. You didn't lose a game on the road. At home, you had a couple of setbacks. You've said that you think that a team a lot of times on the road will be more focused because there are no distractions around. What do you do to try to keep the distractions away here the next 3 weeks? Because starting next week, it's CAA play, and you really got to step up.
Well, the good news is that the kids know this. They understand the concept of what happened. Why were we so good on the road? Because we eliminated our distractions. And while this is a young team, this is a hungry team. And they have actively participated in learning from the mistakes of the guys that came before them. So they understand that. We had some guys that before that, we'd have our meetings, we'd have our meals and everything, and then those guys would kind of lose focus for a home game. And we have to draw it back in. And they don't want that. They want to be better than that. And that speaks well to them and what we'll be in the future. I'll just say flat out, I don't know if you know this, but after we get done meetings tomorrow night, you know who our volleyball team plays?
I do not.
North Dakota State University. Guess where my football guys will be after meetings tomorrow night?
Jeering the North Dakota State volleyball team.
No, I would never go against someone else. We're going to go cheer for our girls.
Okay.
And I want to see us get a win.
Well, it would be nice. It would be nice. You guys, with the final non-conference game, you said that you were going to need all 4 games offensively to try to get this team straight, getting ready for conference play. Your offensive line, you've continued to make changes game by game. At what point do you say, okay, these are the 5 we have to go with, or do you not say that all year long?
The goal will be that we have, when you call out the starting lineups for this game, barring injury or disaster, those 5 up front on the offensive line will be the 5 that you say for the rest of the season. And mark my words, if those 5 are the 5 we say for the rest of the season as starters, we're going to be pretty good. If for some reason we have to change that out, that's not going to bode well for the rest of the season.
All right, well, hopefully they all stay healthy and everything goes well. We have to take one final break, but we'll be back with more of the Tiger Football Report right after this.
Virtual Wallet can help you be that person who's good with money. See what's free to spend, move money with a slide, save with a shake. Feel good about your decisions.
You'll find it on the sidewalks of Little Italy and on the porches in Catonsville. You can see it when friends meet in Mount Vernon. It's pride. Pride in our city, pride in our people. That's why MedStar Health is building the most accessible healthcare system in the region to look after everyone from Lutherville to Locust Point. So no matter where you go, no matter who you are, you're never far from MedStar.
White Market's ice cream plant is based in Sunbury, Pennsylvania, and it's locally owned and operated. We've been making our ice cream for nearly 50 years. We create roughly 70 flavors of ice cream right now. We use local ingredients, especially our cream, which is from our milk plant. The cream is what gives our ice cream a rich and creamy texture. Now, together with our customers, we've created a product called Peanut Butter Indulgence, which will be coming out this summer. It's a peanut butter ice cream with sea salt caramel swirl and chocolate-covered pretzel. How can you go wrong with that? Personally, I love our ice cream. If you come to our house at any given time, you'll find at least 5 packages of ice cream in our freezer. Our kids grew up eating Wise quality ice cream, and now we get to treat our grandchildren to it. It's been a pleasure for me to be tasting ice cream for over 40 years for Wise Markets, and I'm loving every minute of it.
This is where the legends live, waiting for someone with better innovation. From the brand that reinvented the t-shirt comes the Under Armour Speedform Apollo. This is our rocket ship.
Welcome back to the Tiger Football Report. Coach, thanks for stopping by, and good luck against North Carolina Central. We'll talk again next week.
Thanks. Look forward to having you and the rest of the Tiger family making all kinds of noise this week.
We will certainly be there. As we have mentioned, the Tigers take on North Carolina Central on Saturday inside Johnny Unitas Stadium. The game is brought to you by Pepsi, the official soft drink of Towson University. If you can't make it to the game, don't worry. We'll have it for you live, video and audio for free right here on the Towson Sports Network. It's available on your computer or wherever you are on your smartphone. Coverage will also be available on CBS Sports Radio, 1300 AM. Coverage starts at TowsonTigers.com, 5:30 p.m. and on 1300 at 5:45 with kickoff at 6 p.m. Be sure to watch and listen as Towson Hall of Fame head coach Gordy Combs returns to the booth to fill in for Ron Meehan who is on assignment. Along with Gordy, Zach Maskovich, and myself will bring you all the action. Thanks for watching another episode of the Tiger Football Report. Once again, I'm Spiro Maurikas. Have a good week, and we'll talk again soon.